Hey folks, I got our Rock Island 1911 out here again. It's been through a lot of tests, guys, and what we did is we asked you guys, the viewers out there, to tell us what you would like to see this gun put through. Well, we've taken a lot of your suggestions into consideration, and one of the ones that we thought was kind of intriguing that we hadn't thought of, and of course it's not a practical application for a gun, and definitely not common abuse for a gun unless you're, say, a construction worker, for instance. We're going to put this thing, submerge it into wet concrete, let it cure into a solid block of concrete, bust it out, and then we're going to shoot it. So let's get started. All right, we had our Rock Island 1911. Of course, we had our .40 caliber bore snake. We also had some other supplies like our bucket of water, our concrete, and of course we had our stirrer, and then our corrosion X. If you've never used this stuff, it's pretty amazing. We even soaked our bore snake in it to make sure that it kept the barrel nice and clean on the inside. And soap for cleanup. We loaded up our Quikrete and put enough in there that we could actually cover the entire 1911 with it. And our next ingredient was, of course, water. We stirred it up really well to get a nice consistent mixture that we could settle the gun in. Then we coated the entire gun with corrosion X. Yes, we do feel like this is a practical application, because if you were going to go somewhere where you thought your 1911 was going to fall into concrete, it would be wise to coat it with corrosion X. Now remember, we don't want to completely destroy this 1911. That's not the purpose of these exercises. If we wanted to, we would simply smack it on the side with a sledgehammer. So we put a bore snake coated with corrosion X inside the barrel to protect the barrel so that the gun could be fired after we busted out of the concrete. Again, we're not purposely trying to break this thing. We're trying to see what this handgun can take as far as abuse. And we know that if we get concrete and lock the barrel up on the inside, the gun is done. And that's not what we're trying to do. Hence the bore snake. Now we can't forget the magazine. Remember, we don't want concrete getting all up inside this gun and causing it to lock up. We want to block any entry point or any access of the concrete being able to get down deep inside this handgun. By putting the magazine in there and totally coating it with corrosion X, we feel like we can prevent the concrete from getting completely inside this thing. Now it's time to settle it down into the concrete to get this thing curing into a solid block of concrete. This thing is going to be embedded in there. We're going to leave it in there for a week, let the concrete completely cure, and then we're going to take this thing out, bring it out to the range, and blast it out with a pound of Tannerite. After 1 week of curing, this 1911 was now part of this block of concrete. All right guys, right here, it's Independence Day, July 4th, 2014. We're about to have some fun. We've got a lot of people over here that have come out here. We're going to shoot a piece of Tannerite underneath our block over here, which is going to blow this block up. Chad, what's inside that block?
Inside our block is our RIA 1911 that's already been blown up once by Tannerite. It's been dunked in water, it's been dropped. We've tortured this thing beyond belief so far. So now it's encased in this block of concrete. We're going to set it on that 1 pound of Tannerite, and the lucky person gets to blow it up. We're going to see if we can get it out of here and successfully fire it.
We're going to have some fun today, guys. We located a nice level spot out at the Lake Charles Gun Club, and Mr. Lee Perkins of the Gun Club was kind enough to give us a block of wood. We wanted the surface beneath the Tannerite to be nice and firm to direct the blast upwards towards the Rock Island and the block of concrete. It was now time. Cliff Bruhard volunteered to be the trigger man of this experiment. Now, we didn't get him to fill out a waiver, so let's hope everything goes according to plan. And as we typically do, we've got one of our GoPro cameras down nice and tight to get the action from up close. Range is hot. There it went.
Oh, wow.
Now in this slow motion from our GoPro, check out this 1911 as it leaves the screen and then enters back again. Now check out this super slow motion video at 600 frames per second. Notice the bore snake is immediately shot out of the 1911. This block of concrete and this block of wood were splintered and shattered, but one thing remained intact throughout this entire explosion. Watch as the concrete comes apart. Look right in the center of your picture, you'll see the pistol right here highlighted coming through and out of the concrete as it blasts out in exactly and completely one piece.
Oh my gosh.
There's the gun right there. Although it went up, it did come down not far from where it blasted from. And it did not look any worse for the wearer. Yeah, she was a little bit dirty, but so would your mama be if you just blasted her out of concrete that she had been sleeping in for one whole week. And yeah, it wouldn't cycle, but remember, this is concrete, not jello. And in spite of being encased in concrete, the blast had blown the slide rearward on the frame about an inch, as you can see.
I had it completely closed. Well,
I'll give you $10 for it as is.
I'll bet you it'll shoot again. Look at that.
Oh yeah, you can see the concrete coming out of it.
So we gave this thing a little gas bath. That seemed to free up some of the smaller parts that seemed to be frozen up by some of the concrete that had attached itself to it. And if there's a gun hell, this thing had been there. And once we felt like we'd gotten most of the concrete out of the gun, we rinsed it off in a nice fresh batch of gasoline. All right, we finally got this thing cleaned up. We ran it through a nice little gas bath, got it fixed up, worked on it, filed on it, got all the concrete out of the cracks. For safety reasons, we were going to put it in this nice big heavy duty vise, but we found something more durable, a Marine. So we're going to let Mr. Lee shoot this thing and see how it fires. Fire in the hole. Clearly we had missed some of the concrete inside the slide area. But the gun fired. It just would not cycle properly. But one thing this Rock Island 1911 was not missing at 50 yards was accuracy. It nailed this fire extinguisher at a full 50 yards away. This thing has been dragged down a road. This thing has been blown up with Tannerite once. This thing has been dropped from 3 stories high. This thing has been blasted out of a block of ice with a shotgun shooting single-aught buckshot 12 gauge. Now, this thing has been blasted out of a block of concrete with a pound of Tannerite. It's tough to bully a Rock Island Armory 1911.